Broad Street Review podcast is an extension of Broad Street Review, Philly's home for arts, culture, and conversation, an online arts and culture journal covering the greater Philadelphia area. I'm your host, Darnell Radford. Today on the podcast, C.J. Higgins and Quinton J. Alexander of Hum'n'bards Theater Troupe stop in for a very special conversation about their upcoming production, A Queer Christmas Carol. Here is my interview with Hum'n'bards C.J. Higgins and Quinton J. Alexander. Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Darnell Radford, and today we are in the virtual studio with Hum'n'bards Theater Troupe. Hum'n'bards, C.J. Higgins, and Quinton J. Alexander. Welcome back.
Yeah, good to be back.
Yeah.
So we were, before I hit record, we were talking about how many Christmas Carol productions are there in our area, and I think there are definitely three. But much like Shakespeare, whenever there's multiple Shakespeare productions, they all have different directors, they all have different visions, they all have different interpretations. So there's going to be different focuses, and this one by Hum'n'bard Bards will of course, fit that bill with A Queer Christmas Carol. And so as soon as I saw that title, I was thinking about the many iterations of A Christmas Carol I've seen, and I said, isn't A Christmas Carol queer already?
Yeah, and so I mean, if you ask me, last year I watched 25 different adaptations of A Christmas Carol in 2 weeks, and then did a video essay detailing my escapade. So I am more familiar with A Christmas Carol and its adaptations than any human should be. I don't recommend what I did to anybody else. But I mean, I like the reason that Quinton and I were so drawn to like making A Queer Christmas Carol, which the two of us adapted together, was that like there are a lot of elements in the original story that like I don't want to speak for both of us, but I certainly feel are very homosexual.
Yeah.
But like, I think that it's high time that stop being subtext and start being text. Like, we can say that there's that part in the original where Scrooge is talking about his coworker at Fezziwig's, Dick Wilkins, and being like, oh my, dear me, dear Dick, he was very much attached to me. And you can look at that sentence and say, that seems like those two were banging. But did Dickens say they were gay? No. Are we saying that? Yes.
Yes.
That's the difference with A Queer Christmas Carol, is we're gonna say it this time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and the obvious one, of course, Scrooge and Marley were partners. And the loss of your partner creates this much anger and frustration in your life.
He literally moves into Marley's old home after he dies. Like, the home that he lives in is Marley's old home. And he not only does not change the name of the business, which, like, sure, that could be a branding thing, but he answers to both names, Scrooge and Marley, when people ask.
Yeah.
He doesn't see a difference. That's all original text.
Yeah.
It's gay as hell.
And I was thinking about the birdcage and kind of like La Caja Falls, and I remember this moment in the birdcage where they can't get married, so they sign a palimony agreement. And it's basically like they're in business. So they're in business together. So if anything happens, you get the business because you're a partner. And in the time that Dickens was writing A Christmas Carol, it would have been fitting to say you can't get married, but you can become business partners.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's the way you get everything.
It's true.
20 passes. Yeah. But there, you know, there are elements of pretty much every production of A Christmas Carol that have flamboyance that aren't necessarily queer. But it does make me wonder, how does one queer up A Christmas Carol in a visual sense?
How indeed. So I have been directing the show. Quinton is in our ensemble, our two-person ensemble. And in terms of like visuals and stuff, like, yeah, they're like, our cast is primarily queer people, so it is literally queer bodies being represented on stage. And like, there's a lot of like goofs and gags in there that are like, you know, pretty like, if you're gay, you get it. If you're straight, you still probably can suss there's something going on here. But like, yeah, it's primarily about like when we first started writing the script, one of the rules that we set up for the world is that every character on stage is queer in some capacity.
Yeah.
They might not be out, they might not be aware that they're queer, but every character you're looking at is queer.
It's like you have character and you're like, yeah, you are. Even whether they know or not. Look, I know you think what you're doing is
right. Yeah. Yeah.
But you're queer. Yes. Yeah. So I was thinking, I was like, what kind of conversations what sort of conversation can you have for A Christmas Carol? And I was thinking, what would can you imagine, or have you ever given any thought to Tiny Tim as an adult?
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
And what would
just in general.
Yeah.
What would Tiny Tim's story be based on what we know? You know, are there queer signs of Tiny Tim in the story as it plays?
I mean, like in the adaptation, at least, we have left it to the actors to like determine like what their characters' queer identities look like, and then sort of take it from there. Some people have divulged that information to us, and others have not, and that either way is 100% fine. So that said, we have not heard so far tell of the labels that the wonderful actor Lyndon Kearhart has chosen for Tiny Tim or not chosen. That said, I definitely like there's a lot of layover and like stories of like people who believe that they were going to die at a young age, and then they wind up like living to adulthood, and then it's like, oh, okay, what do I do with my life now?
Yeah.
And it's like a lot of people take that time to like find out who they are because they didn't really think to explore that at a young age. I know that's a grim answer, but you know. Quinton, do you have any thoughts on that?
I don't know if I particularly have any thoughts on it. I was trying to figure out a way to explain it without it being too spoilery. I mean, yeah, exactly. Because I was thinking about like one of our most recent rehearsals where one of our cast members, said that like this character is Arrow Ace, and that's why they feel uncomfortable in this conversation.
I was thinking, the queer community has often been criticized to think that
I was going to say you can just end that sentence right there.
Yeah, it has been criticized. Period.
Criticized to see everything through a queer lens, in a sense, thinking like that everybody is queer, and there was a time where it was almost accusatory to sort of think, oh, we think everyone's gay. because of some sort of element where we're either looking for in some opportunity to connect with people, finding similarities in people who are different than we are, but because they embody those same things and we are queer, that is often criticized, that saying that we would just assume that everybody's queer, or if you want to be silly about it, everyone has a little sugar in the tank.
Right. Yeah, well, that was something that like we talked about in the first rehearsal, where I was like, Quinton was busy directing Clownsiker,
Right.
being
Yeah.
the fabulous director that they are. So like we were talking in the first read through, and I was like, why did we make A Queer Christmas Carol queer? Why the fuck not? Like,
Yeah.
unless you can find like I did look it up, and there are like, we're not alone in being like people who have like adapted Christmas Carol through a queer lens, right? But like besides those exceptions, I watched 25 Christmas Carol adaptations, and all of them were straight. So like,
is that video still up on YouTube?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
It's called The Scroogenig. If you want to hear me talk about different Christmas Carol adaptations for an hour and a half, then you go ahead and do that. It's probably
There's
festive
so many
watching.
versions of that
It's
story.
So many. But none of them were explicitly gay. So it's like, all right, like at a certain point becomes less of us like trying to make everything gay. It's like, the world is actively trying to make everybody straight and cisgender. So like, yeah, I'm gonna do like our silly little piece where everyone's gay this time. Fuck you, you know?
And why were we fighting so hard to deny that there were queer people if there were only a few?
People just didn't wake up one day and be like, well, gay now. You know,
gay exists now.
Yeah, gay exists now on this date. In
damn! And the problem is they invented gay the day after Christmas Carol got published.
Oh yeah, just beat him there. Oh dang!
Dang it!
You know what? It's already out there. It's already out there. I guess it has to be straight now.
Dickens is like, wait. They're like, too bad, Charlie. We already printed them, and he's like, no.
So out of 25 A Christmas Carols, and is that counting everything that isn't exactly called A Christmas Carol? Are you counting like?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah.
Are you counting like Bill Murray and Scrooge?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's like the 1951 adaptation, like really famous one starring Alistair Sims, where it's just called, in the United States, it was just called Scrooge.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of adaptations that don't stick to like the exact title, Christmas Carol, but they still very much follow like the Christmas Carol beats. So definitely evaluated those as well.
Yeah. So I'm probably going to give away such a brilliant idea, but I was thinking about this the other day, and I said, it's 2021, and we've gone through so much. I think someone should create a Christmas Karen.
Christmas Karen.
Jesus Christ.
I know, it's like
already too many of those.
I know, but it's
oh my God, right?
So right there. It's so right there, but no one has done it.
Oh, there's got to be like one of those like people who do like online comedy videos that are going to do a Christmas Karen. Like it's got to be in there. Having worked retail for a mere 4 months this past year, I can already say with authority that there are some customers out there who need to get haunted by 3 spirits minimum.
Yes, absolutely. In your opinion, well, let's go to the original text for a second. In your opinion, who is the queerest ghost?
Quinton, thoughts?
Who is the queerest ghost?
It's tough too, because if you think of the original text, there's actually way more than 4 ghosts. They look out the window and there's ghosts everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, Marley is a ghost.
Marley is a ghost.
Yeah.
In fact, it's Marley's ghost, which raises a lot of questions of like, okay, well, is this Marley or is this just a ghost representation of him? How does that work? We don't investigate that in our version, but you know, it's a question.
Yeah.
But
I would
queer
say
stays.
that the Ghost of Christmas Present is probably the most flamboyant.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very like gay in the traditional and homosexual sense.
Gay TM.
Yeah. Joyful. Yeah, I was going to say that as well. Every production I've seen that, you know, the Ghost of Christmas Present is the most gay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
In terms of joyful and happy, and you don't really get, there isn't really much that you get from the Ghost of Christmas Future, you know, in terms of like dialogue. It's really just position and placement, and you can argue that these are all versions of oneself. You know, the ghost being a shadowy figure, kind of, you know, this part of ourselves that isn't spoken, that is kind of hidden in the shadows and fearful of the future, and kind of causing us to stand in what am I trying to say? Stand still, you know, instead of moving forward, clinging in a sense, clinging to the past while being the ghost of Christmas Future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one could say that.
Yeah.
So talk about this. Let's talk a little deeper. Let's go a little deeper about this adaptation. So
All right.
how do you begin to adapt this piece with a queer lens, besides saying, and everyone is gay?
Well, I like the fact that everyone's gay is, I believe, just one element of what makes our adaptation different. I don't want to spoil too much, but having watched all of the other adaptations that I have, what I often find frustrating is that there is a lot of focus on making sure that Scrooge is a good person and like feels like a good person and his soul gets saved. And like there's a lot of like future sequences where like Scrooge only repents because he's afraid of death, and like he's afraid of like what punishments await him if he doesn't change. And it's like, that's not really the path one takes in order to like be a good person, quote, 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 and like actually contribute to like your community and like do good and do better. And like also like there's, for how much I believe the original text applies to today, there is something very hollow about like just asking the rich guy to be nice when we've got Elon Musk's and Jeff Bezos's out there in the world. Like, it's going to take more than like a little haunting to get through to any of those folks. Like the millionaires and billionaires.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot in the script about like what it really means to atone, what it really means to actually make things up to the people that you've harmed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. A lot about accountability.
Yeah, and of course every visual interpretation is kind of a simplification of the whole story. You know, we're getting overnight, over the course of a few hours, basically waking up from a dream. That you've changed your ways completely.
Like who's to say any of that even happened?
Yeah, and
and
also, who's to say that doesn't die out in a week?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I used to attend a born again Christian camp, like a summer camp, and like we'd have like a week of like, you got no electronics, no outside books except for the Bible, and then like people would leave at the end of the week being like, I'm gonna do right by Jesus all the time, and we called that the Jesus high.
Mm-hmm.
like, and then the second you got back into the real world, it was just basically back on your bullshit again, because that lifestyle is not exactly conducive to the everyday 14-year-old. But yeah, it's very much that, where it's like, who's to say that this is the thing that made Scrooge better, and now he's just better all the time forever. He probably still pulls bullshit every couple of months. But like, that's not what this is about.
Yeah.
And did he need to be visited by 3 ghosts? Maybe he just needed to get laid.
Maybe he just needed a nice boyfriend.
Maybe he just needed a nice boyfriend.
Yeah, I mean, since it's been a while since Marley.
Yeah.
He's just by himself all the time.
Yeah, exactly. He just like goes into work the next morning like, hey, Cratchit! Did you have a good night? I sure know I did.
Wouldn't it be interesting to see, how that story progresses? Is he a little more flirty towards Cratchit now? That he's
Maybe.
nice to him, or it is kind of interesting why, it's not clear other than, the text that Marley was his partner, his business partner, but why wouldn't you want to find that kind of connection with another partner? Why wouldn't you want to find another partner, especially if you need to have an assistant? So he had an assistant in Cratchit,
a married assistant.
Yeah, and maybe he treated him that way because he was married.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, something to be said about the employee to employer dynamic there.
What was that job interview like? when he walked in there for the first time?
Hey, are you desperate for money?
Yeah, I'm really good with numbers. I don't mind the cold. The cold never bothered me anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it probably looked like what a lot of people are going through in this capitalistic hellscape, where it's like, it looks like it sucks, but what other choice do you have? Like, what other, there's like the risk that like the next job you find is going to be even worse than that one.
Yeah.
Just like clinging to like something that is stable and will give you some income, especially in a house with like as many children as Cratchit has, including one of them with a like terminal illness that's escalating, presumably a disability of some sort. It's not really specified in the original text what's going on there, but yeah. So it probably desperation.
There's a lot of justifiable envy in Scrooge, thinking about that. Cratchit was married. Cratchit had 4 kids, and he's like, oh, not only are you married, you have a bunch of kids, which means like stop, like rabbits over here apparently.
Hey, they hadn't invented ye old birth control yet.
Yeah. in a barely heated office. And it's also kind of interesting, why even come to work? Like, why physically go to the office? He probably could have done all that work from home.
Yeah, I mean, you try telling most companies that right now. Everyone's suddenly like, oh, let's go be back in the offices again. It's like, are you sure?
To do what?
Right. Literally, like,
we all have computers in our homes now.
And like a lot of us now have the tech to work from home. So it's like, okay, so we figured out that it can be done. Why are we not doing it?
This is my work headset that I'm using right now.
Oh, I was going to say, in most cases, it wasn't even subsidized by the company that you work for. It was like, all of this is on your own. I think the other thing about working from home is everybody's electric bills, everybody's energy bills went up because now their home is online, like much longer than it was before when you went to work or went to school or so on. And companies did not compensate for that. So it is kind of interesting, that whole conversation about returning to the office. It's like, why? Because you bought this lavish building and now you need to fill it with people, and just you're basically forcing them to stay in a prison so that you could have a conference room.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting. Yeah, those conversations as they pop up, I'm always wondering, like, who is still longing to go back to the office. The people that are like, I miss being in the office, and I was the office gossip. I wanted to start some drama. Apparently, I don't know.
Yeah. I
It's
don't
all
know.
just bosses who want to monitor their employees' activity.
Micromanagers are really struggling right now.
Like,
go and check on these micromanagers.
Yeah,
right.
Stop making up things. Yeah. When you work from home, you realize that this work could be done in 4 hours, and basically, you're kind of, when you pay someone full time, you're paying for their access to them, because otherwise they wouldn't be accessible to you. You know, and I think that is a mindset that employers will have to think about now. I think it is kind of fitting to have a conversation about working from home and this state of employment, you know, through the guise of Scrooge's miserliness.
I haven't told someone how to do their job in about 5 minutes, and I'm losing it here.
So, attached to A Queer Christmas Carol, you also have an after party cabaret.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So what's really exciting about A Queer Christmas Carol, besides the fact that it's a kick-ass show and it's going to be amazing, and it was adapted by two wonderful people who are extremely handsome, is that we are partnering, the Hum'n'bards are partnering with a brand new performance venue / cafe called the Painted Mug Cafe, whose goal is to empower the local LGBTQIA plus community. We have been hard at work with them, bringing this venue to life, and we are going to be their very first show there. So after Saturday, December 18th, we have 3 in-person shows, December 17th, 18th, and 19th at 8 p.m. After the Saturday night show, the ticket includes an after-party cabaret, and we'll be looking to raise some funds to help the Painted Mug Cafe get toward their goals of constructing the site, making it ADA compliant, and accessible. All of their wonderful, wonderful goals they're going for. We're really excited. We've got a lot of awesome people, cast members, Bard's favorites, and then some folks who work in the nightlife scenes and comedy scenes as well are going to be joining us. It's going to be really fun.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And
sorry, Quinton, who's hosting it?
Oh, it's me. I'm hosting it.
Fun.
What are you excited about for the cabaret?
I'm really just excited to open up the space, really. You know, we're going to be doing this show, and the cabaret is going to feature a lot of, you know, awesome acts and everything like that. Yeah, I'm excited for pretty much that whole couple of days.
It's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, exactly. And we've been going to construction days at the Painted Mug, which is on 15th and Jackson in South Philly. It used to be a Farmers and Mechanics.
I think it was Farmers Insurance.
Farmers Insurance building that's getting converted into a venue / cafe. Yeah, and next construction day is on Saturday. So if anybody is listening to this and wants to help out,
presuming the day has not passed since this recording gets released. I don't know what the publishing schedule
I don't know what
like
the turnaround for this is.
Yeah. What day is this? It's going out in 3 weeks. So no, I'm just playing.
I was about to say, all right, cool. Catch you for the digital stream
before the show. So catch the digital stream, and that'll be.
Ooh, we haven't mentioned the digital stream.
That's true.
So the Hum'n'bards this past season have been offering a hybrid model for the shows. We are offering both in-person performances and digital streams for all of our shows. We just did it with The Hazards of Love, and it was a huge success. 28% of our audiences for that show were folks from the digital stream. So, like, first of all, for people listening who produced theater and all that stuff, licensing issues aside, there's a really obvious demand for in-home access to theater. So I don't know, think about that a little. So we'll have the in-person shows December 17th through 19th. And then for those, all in-person attendees have to be fully vaccinated and masked. So we should be quite COVID safe. But for folks who are not able to make the trek for whatever reason, we will be having a digital and closed caption stream of the show available online between December 20th through 31st. So the day after the show is over, in the evening, we should have that up. So yeah, that's been something I've been really excited about, especially as somebody who has taken a lot of advantage of digital theater over the past 2 years, and somebody who needs closed captions for a lot of stuff. It's been super helpful for me. So yeah, if you're not able to see the show in person for whatever reason, we'll be streaming it for the rest of the year.
So I may have asked you this before, but do you see this hybrid model carrying into the future of Hum'n'bards?
I would say so. Yeah. I would definitely say so. I think some of the first things that we were doing when the pandemic began was the nightlife Renaissance Fair, which was totally digital. And we've kind of continued that through this current theater season that we're in right now. So I imagine that that's just going to be the mainstay going forward. Is we'll do our live shows. We'll record one or two shows and then make it available as like a digital show that you can watch from X time to whatever the end is.
Yeah.
Great idea.
Oops, sorry. Yeah, the Hum'n'bards have always had accessibility on the forefront of what we do. And I fully believe that, and like the rest of the bards agree, that like even though we're super excited about like folks being able to do in-person theater again, a lot of the physical and financial barriers preventing access to in-person shows haven't gone away just because like the vaccine is out. It still costs. There is like a financial burden that comes with attending in-person shows, and like physical burden as well. A lot of spaces in Philadelphia are not ADA compliant. There are people at a higher risk of contracting COVID-19, like immunocompromised folks, who like they can be vaccinated or not, and like they are still at higher risk. So I think that just because we're moving back to in-person programming is not a reason that we should abandon all of the lessons that we learned over the past 2 years about making our content accessible to as many people as possible.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's kind of like saying, since it wasn't safe for you to join us in Philly, we've opened it up to the entire world. And now that it's safer to come join us in Philly, we're going to close ourselves off to the entire world.
It's like theater, like I know like something that's blocking a lot of folks from doing this hybrid model is like licensing issues if they're not doing original works. That said, we have only gained from doing this model. Like I mentioned before, we like 28% of our audiences were accessing the digital show. It was as if we had added another show and a half from the attendance and ticket income numbers. So like that was just additional attendees and additional revenue. Like it didn't really cost us anything besides the labor of captioning it and like maintaining it. to have that digital stream available. So it was a net gain for us, and like, again, super great for accessibility. So win-win all around. Highly recommend.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they're on the fence about if there's some particular as to why they don't want to do it, the accessibility component alone is more than enough justification to always have a hybrid model moving forward. And really, if there's something you don't like about the virtual theater that we've experienced over the last 2 years, then evolve. Come up with more ideas. Think about better ways to use that box. And tell stories. We tell stories in a box anyway. So find a way to tell a story in this box and get over yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like a lot of people need to get over themselves. Like it's starting to make me think about like all of the movies that are coming out for like streaming, like on like HBO Go. Like HBO Max. Instead of instead of seeing it in the theater, you could just watch it at home. Yeah, and there are certainly plenty of movies that like, oh wow, I'm so glad that I did not waste my time schlepping myself over to the theater, paying $11, paying like $20 for a bag of popcorn. When
you can say Space Jam too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We're all friends here. You can say Space Jam 2, A New Legacy.
Yeah, it's like, oh wow, really dodged a bullet
Also,
there. I
but
watched
also
it in
some of those productions, some of the films that are coming out, the fact that they are available in the theater and also on a streaming platform, they give you sort of an option. Now you have an option, and you can decide which experience you would prefer to have. Like for instance, I mean, I'm not gonna name one as an example, but like I was thinking about all the movie musicals that came out. I wanted to see them in the theater.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to support. I felt like I wanted to support, and I also wanted to have that experience. And everybody is not sitting in front of an obnoxious screen television.
Yeah.
Some people are accessing that streaming component or that offering on a phone or a small laptop, where it's just them as the individual. And maybe that's something good that you want for reference. Sometimes I always talk about, like, I've always said there should be an invitation to come back to any theatrical production at half price, because sometimes you will consume the experience. You will consume the experience, and there's something that you didn't quite grasp, and you got to come back, and there should be a return discount, a bring a friend discount. Like, you know what, you paid full price for the first one, so now let's do a discount, or we'll send you a 2-for-1. Bring a friend. Invite someone else into this conversation. And it's kind of one of those moments. It's just like when you're sitting on the couch with someone who hasn't seen your favorite movie, and you're just looking at them, waiting for the responses in the moments where you're like, you really need to pay attention at this moment.
Yeah. I totally get that, because there have been times where like I've worked on shows, like I wasn't like in it, I was like working in the crew or something like that, and I don't know what's going on in this story, but only through being there literally every night for like a month. Oh, I get it now. I
have actively on more than one occasion performed in a show, and then I made a huge discovery about my character at the last performance. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
So like, if it can even happen on the performer end, it can happen for everybody.
Plus, anyone who's been a stage manager knows the entire production by heart by the time you go live. So it's those are the kind of things that I always think about too. And I'm like, I can quote this just like I can quote one of my favorite films because I've watched it. You know, I used to buy, I used to get a VHS and watch it every day after school for like a month. And I can quote, you know, I can quote those moments in the show where I'm pretty much like, I think I quoted this entire movie and ruin it for somebody. It's not a problem if you're watching it alone.
Yes.
But
Bringing it back to Christmas Carol, my favorite adaptation is Muppets Christmas Carol.
Yes.
And
it's
it's like best version. I say the one that best incorporates Charles Dickens' narration as a character.
That's true, actually.
Yeah. I have a lot of thoughts about Muppets Christmas Carol, but the point is, I starting the day after Thanksgiving and going into like the Christmas season and all of that, I watch Muppets Christmas Carol like all the time. And like a couple of years back, my roommate and I were talking about like Christmas traditions, all that, and he's like, "Oh, my family always loved watching Muppets Christmas Carol during the holidays," and I'm like, no fucking way. Like, me too. That's great. We can have this like little shared Christmas tradition. So the day after Thanksgiving comes, I'm like, throw that shit on. It's time. He does. We watch, and I'm like, great. A couple days later, he's like, what do you want to watch tonight? And I was like, let's get Muppets Christmas Carol in there. And he's like, oh, but we watched it already. And I'm like,
so
we what? Like, yeah, I know, and we're watching it again. Like, what was your family doing? And then I realized that his family only watched it one time a year, maybe two. And I'm like, that's not tenable. I need to watch it like 17 more times, actually.
Yes. So because you're doing a Christmas, because you're doing a cabaret, and it's that time of year, I had a question for you about holiday songs. It's a twofold. What songs do you look forward to hearing any version of around this time of year, and what songs do you think should be retired?
I almost want to retire Last Christmas by Wham just out of spite, because I know there's that whole Wham again thing.
Oh, I love that song though.
No, I know, but like in terms of songs I look forward to, maybe it's like it's a purely nostalgia thing because I was raised Christian but no longer identify as such. But Oh Holy Night, there's something about that song that always gets me. What about you, Q?
I like There's No Place Like Home for the Holiday. I love that one.
I think that might be the title of it too.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that's the actual title of the song or if that's just the hook.
I have no fucking idea.
I don't know.
No clue.
And I feel like all I Want for Christmas Is You gets too much undue hate. I think that song is a certifiable bop. I think it just is oversaturated, and I think that's why people don't like it.
Yeah. I would also maybe get rid of Baby It's Cold Outside, surely so I don't have to listen to discourse about Baby It's Cold Outside ever again.
Oh my god.
I don't even have a problem with the song.
I don't have any problem with the song. It's the discourse around the song that's like so annoying. It's like, well, is this like
they obviously like each other.
They're singing a song.
Stop it.
It's two fictional people singing a song to each other.
Yeah, I mean, I get the undertone, but there are two people who like each other who are dancing around it. They're playing coy,
right?
And that's how I've always looked at it. It's like I probably should.
Yeah,
and when the song was written, they couldn't just be like, "I want to bone you so bad, we gotta fuck now."
That's pretty much what the
Tell
song
your
is about.
Dad. Let's change the lyrics to it. Maybe it'll be more palatable.
And it's like the what's in this drink thing or whatever. It's like, I mean, she's not like
They're
slur.
adults.
She's not like slurring her
What
words
do you
and
mean?
falling over for the rest of the
Right.
song. Like,
She's like,
What
the rest of the
is
song
like
isn't
this
her like,
thing?
oh
It's
no,
not-
I just got drugged. It's just
yeah.
like, oh wow, this
No.
is a strong, like,
No.
wow, there's something in this drink that's got me
I
feeling
walked
a frisky
over to
kind
the
of
bar. I walked over to the bar and fixed us both a drink. What do you mean?
way. I say, what's in this drink? It's that pomegranate LaCroix.
Oh my god. It's passion fruit.
It's passion.
Yes.
And the I guess the final question, fun question is what do you want for Christmas?
I had something fun written on my list. Hold on, because like I have a lot of stuff that's like practical stuff. Ba-ba-ba-da-da. Oh, I really want you know those quilted robes that you get at hotels?
Ooh.
I want
yes.
one of those.
Nice.
Yeah, the ones that are essentially a towel that you wrap around yourself.
Nice.
I could live the rest of my life in luxury. Truly.
I think I've already gotten what I want for Christmas, and it's a new bed. Me and my
Nice.
spouse ordered a king size bed after like 4 years of sleeping on a full together, and we're just like, this is the best. We're gonna have so much more room.
So much room for activities.
So much room for
There you go.
activities.
Now you're gonna have to, do a production on that king size.
Mhm.
Truly.
Like the size of a small stage.
Yeah.
The thing about a king size bed is if you don't own your home,
Mm.
it's usually an issue getting that mattress in and around your house.
Well,
And
we'll see
if
how
you're
that
somebody
goes.
like- Oh, it hasn't come yet?
Well, the frame is here. It showed up today. It's funny because like I work in a call center like from home, and I heard like the knock on the door, and I was like on the phone with somebody. I was like, could you hold please? I just like ran downstairs and tried to like lug this thing into my house
Oh my
like
gosh.
real quick before the person hangs up. I like come back, I'm like breathing like super hard. It's like, okay. So what's your address?
Did they just leave to run a marathon?
Yeah.
That's me coming up from the basement to get to the door because I feel like I'll hear a knock and they just ignore this clear doorbell right in the middle of the door. So but I'll hear a knock and I swear if I'm not up there in 3 minutes, that package is gone.
Oof,
And
yeah.
thank you, Philly. F you. Because that is what happens here. You pretty much you have to be there before they walk away or that package will not be there.
Yeah. That's one thing that's great about me working from home. My spouse is back in the office, but I'm home all the time. So any packages that come in, I'm just gonna shoot downstairs real quick, grab it, go back to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we got Christmas gifts. We've got songs. I think a song that I would retire is Santa Baby by Madonna. I know that's
specifically the Madonna
The
version.
specific Madonna
specifically the
version,
Madonna version.
not the Michael Bublé version.
I'm sorry,
Santa
Madonna.
buddy.
I think
Yeah.
I think that one needs to get retired. It's like, come
Forcing
on,
the straight agenda
Come
on me and my
on.
family.
you gotta be gay for Santa. Do it,
Be gay for Santa, you coward.
you coward.
Also, whatever happened to talking like a mobster, like Santa baby?
Hey, Santa baby, how you doing? How's the wife? How's the
You
elves?
gotta
Save
get
one
me.
of the tree for me. For me.
You gotta get me the present I want, or you'll be swimming with the fishes.
You have to change it in real time. Being an awful good person, Santa baby. Yes. Okay. The production is a queer Christmas carol. It is presented by the Hum'n'bards Theater Troupe. And it is on stage December 17th through the 19th at the new Painted Mug Cafe. And where is that located?
It is on 15th and Jackson. The address and like all that stuff is on our ticketing website, which is hummingbirds.ticketleap.com/a-queer-christmas-carol. And from there, you can buy in-person or digital tickets or both. And all the tickets are pay what you can. We've got like a scale between like $10 to $35, but we've also got a little option that you can fill in if you want to pay less or more than that, and no one gets turned away for lack of funds.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
As long as you bring proof of vaccination and a mask, we will turn you away for not having those. We are very strict on that.
And don't make a scene.
Don't make a scene.
Don't make a scene.
I'm knocking on wood because we didn't have anybody make a scene during Hazards of Love. So
Don't be a Christmas Karen. Don't be a Christmas Karen.
Don't be a Christmas Karen.
Christmas Karen.
We won't care about your money. We will simply turn you away.
Listen, if you make a scene, 3 ghosts will haunt you.
Exactly. Exactly.
And they're not going to be the fun ones.
No.
You're not going to like these ghosts. Can you imagine?
There are 3 Christmas yet to come.
Like,
That's it.
3 ghosts outside and they're lost and they're like talking to us. Do you know which house Karen's in? I'm supposed to meet a Karen.
Fun story. That's actually the plot of one of the Christmas Carol adaptations I watched, Carol's Christmas, where a guy gets haunted by 3 spirits who are actually supposed to be visiting his next door neighbor. It's actually really interesting.
Does he spend like the whole movie being like, look, you're at the wrong house, you're like, my name isn't Frank, it's
well, like, it's actually like cool because like half of the movie is like the traditional framework of like the past, present, future and all that, and he learns more about his shitty neighbor who sucks so bad and like why the neighbor had such a bad life and is the way he is. And then like the other half of the movie is this guy being like, all right, I have this information about this guy, I'm gonna try to help him out. And that's just the second half of the film. And the guy is Wallace Shawn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he does great. I straight up like there was a part where I teared up in that movie because he did an excellent job. But I thought it was a really cool spin on the usual framework.
Yeah, what was the name of that one?
Carol's Christmas, but it's spelled like Karoll, like a last name.
Oh, okay.
There's a world where Scrooge and Marley were Bert and Ernie.
Oh.
Yes.
I think Scrooge was always a little bit of a curmudgeon, but somewhat tamed because of Marley.
Yes. Though in the Muppet Christmas Carol version, I hold because they make Jacob Marley's character Jacob and Robert Marley, and it's Statler and Wardolph. But I hold that Marley and Marley were married, and then Scrooge was like their boyfriend. Like it was like a throuple situation.
He was their third.
Right, exactly, yeah. I'm saying they were a throuple. 2 of them happened to be married and take each other's last names. One of them did not.
Yes. So join Hum'n'bards Theater Troupe as they queer up Christmas with a Christmas Carol, with a queer Christmas Carol, December 17th through the 19th at the Painted Mug Cafe. And if for some reason you missed that, you can catch the digital stream December 20th through the 31st. CJ Higgins, Quinton J. Alexander, thank you so much for taking the time to talk about this adaptation that you both wrote.
Thank you so much, Darnell Radford.
Yes. And yes, so add a little queer cheer to your holiday. Thank you all so much. It's always a pleasure. It's always fun.
Yeah. We have fun here.
We do.
Yes.
We play in the space. We play. You beat me to it. Damn it.
Shut it down. Shut it down.
Shut it down. There it is. Want to get involved with Broad Street Review? Head on over to our website at www.broadstreetreview.com and click Get Involved at the top. While you're there, help keep us running and click Donate to find out how. Connect with us on social media, on Facebook and Twitter at BroadST Review. Thank you for helping to keep the conversation going.